You ever notice how we hold on to things that have already let go of us, relationships that have expired, seasons that have served their purpose? Doors God already closed, but we keep jiggling the handle, hoping somehow it'll open again. We tell ourselves, maybe if I try harder, maybe if I wait longer, but deep down, you already know what was once right for you isn't right anymore. And the longer you cling, the more it costs your peace. Let it end, because some things are meant to die so new things can live. You don't have to fight to keep what's fading. You don't have to justify the silence, the distance, or the change. Not every loss is a tragedy. Sometimes it's divine redirection. Sometimes the ending you're afraid of is the very thing that's saving your soul. When you stop chasing what's behind you, you finally give your future permission to find you. Let it hurt. Don't run from it. Don't numb it. Sit in it. Feel it. The hurt is holy. It's the evidence that you cared, that you loved, that you were brave enough to give a piece of yourself to something real. Pain has purpose. It reveals what mattered and it refines what remains. But listen, don't let the hurt define you. Let it teach you. Let it strip away everything falls until only truth remains. Healing begins the moment you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Let it heal. Healing doesn't mean you're weak for still feeling it. It means you're wise enough to stay until the lesson settles in your bones. Healing isn't a straight line. It's messy. Some days you'll miss what broke you. Some days you'll question if you've grown at all. But every time you choose peace over proof, every time you resist the urge to reopen the wound just to make sense of it, you're healing. Healing isn't about pretending you're fine. It's about becoming whole again, piece by piece, breath by breath, surrender by surrender. And then let it go. Not because it didn't matter, but because you finally matter more. Letting go isn't losing. It's reclaiming. It's stepping out of the storm and realizing you were never meant to live there. It's choosing peace over chaos, freedom over familiarity, and truth over comfort. You're not walking away. You're walking toward clarity, toward wholeness, toward the next version of you that's been waiting beyond this pain. When you let it end, you honor what was. When you let it hurt, you honor your humanity. When you let it heal, you honor your growth. And when you let it go, you honor your destiny. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is not, I'll fix it, but I release it. And endings often come dressed in disappointment, silence, or uncertainty. They don't always arrive with explanations, and that's what makes them hard to accept. But the truth is, endings are not proof of your failure. They're divine punctuation marks in the sentence of your life. Every story needs a period to bring closure to one chapter before another begins. Sometimes what feels like a loss is simply life's way of saying, you've learned what you needed here. It's time to move forward. The ending is not rejection. It's redirection. It's not the world closing in on you. It's God clearing space for something better aligned with who you are becoming. We often try to resist endings because they threaten our sense of control. We equate continuity with safety, even when that continuity is costing us peace. But there's a deeper wisdom in endings. When something ends, a job, a friendship, a relationship, a season, it's not punishment. It's a signal that the purpose it once carried has been fulfilled. You see, not every door is meant to stay open forever. Some were designed for a specific season of your growth to teach you courage, patience, love, or boundaries. And once that purpose has been served, forcing it to remain only delays your transformation. Growth requires endings. Without them, you'd stay stuck in spaces that no longer reflect who you're becoming. The version of you that's trying to emerge cannot survive in environments built for who you used to be. So when life removes something or someone, it's not taking from you, it's making room within you. It's creating sacred emptiness, space where new grace can enter. But that space must first be emptied of what no longer serves your spirit. Accepting an ending takes faith, the kind of faith that says, even though I don't understand this right now, I trust that this is part of my evolution. Faith that sees beyond the pain of goodbye into the promise of what's next. You are not losing, you are transitioning. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. The end is not your undoing, it's your unfolding. Every ending holds within it the seed of your next beginning. The question is, will you let go long enough to see what's trying to bloom? Pain has a way of convincing us that something has gone wrong, that we're being punished, or that we're somehow broken. But pain is not punishment. It's proof that something once mattered deeply to you. It's evidence that you cared, that you were present, that your heart was invested in something meaningful. Pain is the echo of connection, the afterglow of something sacred that once lived in your life. When we feel pain, It's not life being cruel, it's life being honest. It's the soul's language reminding us that endings, loss, and change are all part of the human journey. The first step toward healing is to stop fighting the hurt. We spend so much energy trying to numb, avoid, or escape our pain that we never allow it to teach us. But pain is a teacher. It reveals where we need to let go, where we've been holding too tightly, and where we've tied our worth to things that were never meant to define us. When you sit with your pain, when you stop running from it, it transforms, it becomes clarity, it becomes strength, it becomes the birthplace of wisdom. Healing doesn't begin when the pain disappears, it begins when you stop resisting it. The more you fight your feelings, the more they fight back. But when you acknowledge the ache without judgment, you invite peace to enter. It's in that stillness, in that quiet surrender, that true healing begins. There's a kind of sacred courage in allowing yourself to feel everything. The loss, the disappointment, the emptiness, and yet still believe that this isn't where your story ends. Pain asks you to pause, to listen, to recalibrate. It strips away illusions, exposes truth, and reminds you of your capacity to endure. Every tear shed in honesty waters the soil of your next chapter. You don't need to rush the process or pretend you're fine. Let the pain move through you without shame. It's not there to destroy you, it's there to rebuild you from the inside out. When you allow yourself to feel fully, you open the door to healing fully. Pain is not the end of the story, it's the bridge that carries you toward wholeness, strength, and a deeper understanding of yourself. You cannot heal what you continue to hold on to. The truth is, every time you replay the hurt, every time you revisit the past trying to rewrite what happened, you reopen the wound that's trying to close. Healing doesn't coexist with clinging. You can't move forward while still gripping the memories. The what-ifs and the could-have-beens that keep you anchored to what's already over. Release isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the moment you decide that peace matters more than understanding every detail of why something ended the way it did. The mind will always crave closure, but sometimes closure isn't a conversation or an apology. It's a decision you make on your own to stop bleeding over things that are no longer in your control. Holding on feels safe because it gives us an illusion of connection. We tell ourselves that if we remember, if we analyze, if we wait long enough, maybe it'll all make sense. But peace doesn't come from figuring everything out. It comes from accepting that some things will never make sense. And that's okay. The more you hold on to what's gone, the heavier your soul becomes. You weren't meant to carry every hurt forever. Some pain is meant to pass through you, not live in you. Release is the doorway through which peace enters. It's an act of trust, of surrendering your need to control the story and allowing life to write the next part for you. When you release, you make space for new energy, new clarity, and new blessings to flow into your life. Holding on to the past blocks the flow of what's meant to find you next. Think of your hands when they're full of what's gone, they can't receive what's coming. Letting go doesn't mean you forget. It means you remember differently. It means you can look back without bitterness, think of what happened without breaking, and talk about it without trembling. It means your heart is no longer chained to the weight of the memory. You reclaim your energy. You return to yourself. You stop living in reaction to what hurt you and start living in response to who you're becoming. The healing you've been praying for begins the very moment you stop trying to hold together what's already been released. Emotional detachment is often misunderstood as coldness or indifference, but in truth, it is one of the highest forms of strength. It's not about ceasing to care, it's about caring with wisdom. It's choosing to no longer let your emotions be controlled by people, situations, or outcomes you cannot change. It's recognizing that peace is your responsibility, not anyone else's gift to you. When you detach emotionally, you are not closing your heart. You are protecting it from unnecessary chaos. You are saying, I can love you, but I will not lose myself in trying to fix what isn't mine to fix. There's a sacred kind of clarity that comes when you learn to observe your feelings without being consumed by them. You start to see that every emotional storm doesn't require your participation. You begin to understand that reacting to everything drains the very energy you need to build your future. Detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means alignment. It's choosing peace over drama, stillness over reaction, and purpose over proving a point. It's standing firm in who you are, even when everything around you tries to pull you back into old patterns of pain. When you detach, you stop trying to control the outcome and start trusting the process. You stop begging for closure from people who never intended to give it. You stop reopening wounds for the sake of temporary comfort. You learn that sometimes silence is your loudest response and walking away is your most powerful move. True emotional detachment isn't about avoiding love. It's about loving in a way that doesn't destroy you. It's the ability to give without expecting, to feel deeply but not drown, to show compassion without surrendering your boundaries. Detachment frees you from emotional dependency. It teaches you that your value isn't tied to how much you're needed, wanted, or understood. You learn that you can wish someone well and still move on. You can remember without revisiting. You can care without clinging. That's power. That's peace. Detachment is not a wall. It's a gate that separates your inner calm from external chaos. And once you learn to live from that space, no one can shake you, no situation can define you, and no loss can steal your peace. Growth often requires isolation, and that's one of the hardest truths to accept. We crave connection, validation, and the comfort of being understood. But when life starts pulling you into solitude, it's not rejection, it's refinement. Sometimes God separates you not to punish you, but to strengthen you. When you're surrounded by noise, opinions, and distractions, you can't always hear your own soul speak. Isolation is where that voice becomes clear again. It's where you start to realize that not everyone can come with you to the next level of your life, because not everyone is equipped to breathe in the same atmosphere of your growth. In isolation, the masks fall away. The roles you've played for others lose their weight, and you're left with yourself, your truth, your wounds, your purpose. It's uncomfortable, sometimes even painful to face the quiet, because the quiet exposes everything you've been avoiding. But that's the point. Growth begins where pretending ends. The solitude you resist is often the soil that produces your greatest strength. It's where you unlearn the need for approval, where you discover that peace doesn't come from being seen, it comes from being still. When life removes people or places from your circle, it's making room for alignment. The version of you that's emerging needs space to breathe, to expand, to evolve. You can't step into your next chapter still surrounded by voices that belong to your old one. Isolation isn't abandonment, it's preparation. It's God saying, be alone for a while so I can show you who you are without the world's opinions. It's in those silent seasons that purpose is born, clarity is sharpened, and resilience is built. The strongest trees don't grow in crowded forests. They grow in open spaces where the wind forces their roots to go deep. That's what isolation does. It forces your roots to strengthen beneath the surface, unseen but unshakable. It teaches you to draw strength from within, to trust your own discernment, and to build peace that isn't dependent on anyone else's presence. When you emerge from that solitude, you don't come out empty, you come out anchored. So when life calls you into isolation, don't fight it. Sit with it, learn from it, and understand that sometimes separation is the sacred strategy for transformation. What's meant for your spirit will never require you to sacrifice your peace to keep it. Anything that constantly costs you your inner calm is too expensive for your soul to afford. Peace is not a luxury. It's your compass. It's the quiet confirmation that you're aligned with your purpose. Whenever you find yourself anxious, drained, or uneasy while trying to hold on to someone or something, that's not love, destiny, or purpose. That's resistance. True alignment doesn't demand that you shrink, chase, or compromise your peace. It invites you to expand, to breathe, to rest in assurance that what's meant for you will recognize you without you having to prove your worth. We often confuse attachment with purpose. We think if we fight hard enough for something, it must be ours. But not everything you want is meant for your spirit. Some things come to teach you, to reveal your strength, or to prepare you for something greater, but they were never meant to stay. When you force what's fading, you begin to lose yourself in the process. You start negotiating your peace, lowering your boundaries, and silencing your intuition just to keep what was only meant to visit your life, not live in it. The beauty of divine timing is that what belongs to your spirit will never compete with your peace. It won't make you question your value or lose sight of who you are. It will feel steady, balanced, and nourishing. Peace isn't the absence of effort. It's the presence of harmony. Even when challenges arise, what's meant for you will grow you, not drain you. It will challenge you to rise higher without robbing you of rest. You don't need to fight for what's truly yours. You protect it through peace, not panic. You nurture it with presence, not pressure. The right people, opportunities, and paths will feel like home to your spirit. They won't demand that you become less of yourself to fit in. They'll require that you become more of who you were created to be. So pay attention to what disturbs your peace. It's often the universe's way of whispering, this is not aligned. What's meant for you will never make you beg for belonging. It will meet you where peace lives, because peace is always the language of alignment. Forgiveness isn't about excusing what happened. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional weight that keeps you anchored to the past. When you hold on to resentment, you chain your spirit to the very moment that broke you. You replay it, relive it, and feel it over and over again as if your pain is proof that you're still in control. But unforgiveness doesn't protect you. It poisons you. It keeps your heart locked in a cage, convincing you that holding on will somehow bring justice. The truth is, forgiveness isn't for them. It's for you. It's the release of the power that pain once had over your peace. Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt. It doesn't mean erasing the memory or reconciling with someone who hasn't changed. It means saying, I refuse to let this define me any longer. It's choosing to reclaim your energy from the things and people that no longer deserve it. When you forgive, you're not minimizing the wound. You're choosing to stop bleeding from it. You're deciding that your healing matters more than your hatred, that your future deserves more space than your past. Sometimes forgiveness feels unfair because the people who hurt you may never apologize, never acknowledge, never change. But forgiveness isn't about them facing the truth. It's about you facing yours. It's standing in your power and saying, you may have hurt me, but you don't get to own me. You can't heal while still harboring bitterness. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Forgiveness breaks that cycle. It pulls you out of emotional captivity and leads you back into peace. Letting go of resentment is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's realizing that clinging to pain doesn't protect your heart. It hardens it. The act of forgiveness softens your spirit and opens you to love again, not necessarily with the same people, but with the same heart, now wiser, freer, stronger. Forgiveness is not forgetting what happened. It's remembering it differently. It's saying, yes, that happened, but it no longer controls me. It's a spiritual exhale, a quiet revolution of peace within your soul. And when you finally forgive, you don't just set them free, you set yourself free. Healing isn't a single moment. It's a journey of surrender, silence, and self-respect. It doesn't happen the day you decide you're done hurting. It begins when you stop rushing the process and allow yourself to unfold naturally. Healing asks you to slow down, to listen to your emotions, and to honor your heart's pace instead of the world's expectations. It's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about facing what's not fine and learning to make peace with it. Some wounds don't close overnight, and that's okay. Healing is not about erasing the pain. It's about transforming your relationship with it. In the quiet spaces of healing, you'll find that growth often happens beneath the surface, unseen. Some days you'll feel strong, and other days you'll feel fragile, but both are proof that you're still moving forward. The silence between breakthroughs is sacred because that's where your soul rebuilds its strength. Healing doesn't require perfection, it requires patience. It's not a straight path, it's a winding road filled with moments of clarity and moments of confusion. But even in the confusion, progress is happening. Every breath you take after the storm is a declaration that you're still here, still choosing life, still choosing peace. Self-respect plays a vital role in this process. Healing teaches you to set boundaries, to say no, and to walk away from what continually harms your spirit. It teaches you that peace is not something you find outside yourself. It's something you protect within yourself. When you start choosing yourself, even when it's uncomfortable, you honor your healing. You begin to understand that caring for your own heart isn't selfish, it's sacred. There's also a deep surrender in healing, a release of control, a trust that time and truth will do their work. You stop trying to rewrite the past and start focusing on writing a future that reflects your growth. You stop trying to fix others and start nurturing yourself. And slowly, without realizing it, the pain that once consumed you starts to soften. The memories lose their sting. The nights become lighter. Healing doesn't announce itself. It reveals itself quietly when you notice that what once broke you no longer defines you. It's the moment you realize you've found peace where pain once lived. The end of one chapter is not the end of your story. It's simply the author adjusting the plot toward your purpose. Life is a series of seasons, and endings are not final. They are transitions. What feels like a closed door is often a sacred setup for something greater, something your current perspective can't yet see. We mourn the endings because we mistake them for loss, but what if they're really invitations to evolve? Every chapter that closes has done its job. It taught you, stretched you, and revealed a part of yourself that couldn't have emerged any other way. When one chapter ends, it's not rejection, it's redirection. It's life saying, there's more to your story, but this scene is complete. Sometimes we cling to old chapters out of fear that the next one won't be as good, or that we've already lived the best parts of our story. But that fear blinds us to possibility. You can't start the next chapter if you're still rereading the last one. There's power in turning the page. The pain, the uncertainty, the in-between, they're all part of the rewrite. Trust that the author of your life doesn't make mistakes. The plot twist you didn't see coming might just be the breakthrough you've been praying for. Every ending holds a hidden blessing. When relationships fade, when opportunities dissolve, when seasons shift, it's often because you've outgrown what once fit. You're evolving, and your story must evolve with you. The things that once made sense may no longer align with your spirit's direction. And that's not failure, that's progress. Sometimes God closes a door not because he's denying you something, but because he's protecting you from settling for less than what's written for you. The beauty of your story is that it's still being written. Even if you've lost something precious, even if the page you're on feels dark, remember, the ink hasn't dried yet. There's more to come. New characters, new lessons, new light. You're not finished, you're being refined. And one day, you'll look back and see that every ending was a turning point, every heartbreak a plot twist, every silence a setup for your next rise. Your story isn't over. It's unfolding exactly as it should. Letting go isn't forgetting. It's remembering without pain, walking forward without resentment, and trusting that release is a sacred act of renewal. It's one of the hardest things to do because the heart always wants to hold on to what once felt like home. We convince ourselves that if we cling tightly enough, somehow the past will come back as it was. But letting go is not about erasing memories. It's about honoring them while freeing yourself from their weight. It's understanding that some chapters must close for your soul to breathe again. Holding on doesn't preserve what was, it only prolongs your suffering. There's a quiet power in release. It doesn't happen overnight. It begins with small decisions, choosing not to revisit that message, not to replay that moment, not to reopen that wound. Each act of letting go is a declaration that you are choosing peace over pain, freedom over familiarity. You stop needing closure from others and start creating it within yourself. You begin to see that you can miss something and still move forward, that grief and growth can coexist, and that peace doesn't mean forgetting, it means forgiving yourself for holding on so long. Letting go also requires trust. You have to trust that what's meant for you will return if it's truly yours, and if it doesn't, it was never meant to stay. Trust that the space created by release will not remain empty. It will be filled with something better aligned with who you are becoming. The universe, or God, cannot fill hands that are still clenched around yesterday. When you open your grip, you make room for the blessings that have been waiting for your surrender. Letting go doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. It's choosing to stop dancing with ghosts and start walking with grace. It's refusing to let old pain define your present peace. It's looking back with gratitude, not grief. Every time you release what no longer serves you, you rise a little higher. You reclaim your energy, you return to your center, you realize that freedom doesn't come from fixing the past, but from finally releasing it. Letting go is not losing, it's awakening. It's remembering that your heart was never meant to stay broken. It was meant to be reborn. Life will ask you to release things you once thought you could never live without. It will stretch you, test you, and at times break you open, but only to rebuild you stronger, wiser, and freer than before. Every ending, every hurt, every silent season, every act of letting go is shaping you into someone more grounded in truth and guided by peace. Healing doesn't happen because you find the answers. It happens because you stop fighting the process. You stop clinging to what was and start trusting what will be. Let it end. Let it hurt. Let it heal. Let it go. Because your peace is sacred, your growth is holy, and your future is waiting for the version of you that has the courage to release what no longer belongs. The moment you stop chasing what's behind you, you give what's ahead the permission to arrive. You are not what you lost. You are what you learned. You are not defined by the pain. You are refined by it. And as you let go, you will discover that endings aren't meant to break you. They're meant to reveal you. So stand tall in your becoming. Trust the divine order of your life. And remember, peace doesn't come from holding tighter. It comes from opening your hands, lifting your heart, and allowing grace to finish what pain began.